से इन्फॉर्म कर दीजिए। जितने भी चाहिए मैं आपके लिए सेशन करूंगा, तो हम 1-on-1 मतलब हर मंडे को करेंगे, ऐसा कुछ जरूरी नहीं है कि जब हमें रिक्वायरमेंट होगा हम लियो को बुलाएंगे और आप सभी को इन्फॉर्म करेंगे, ऐसे हमने कहा था। तो हमारे रिक्वेस्ट से लियो ने आज के सेशन के लिए हमें कंफर्मेशन दिया था और बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि अभी ये सेशन शुरू होने जा रहा है। ये जो क्वालिटी इंफॉर्मेशन है वो सिर्फ ये बिजनेस के लिए नहीं, पूरे हमारे लाइफ के लिए हमें सहायता देती है। मैं सभी को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि जो भी कोई डिस्ट्रैक्शन होगा उसको 10 बजे तक आप थोड़ा दूर रखिए और टोटल कंसंट्रेशन आज हम ये मीटिंग को रखेंगे। देखो, लाइफ में बहुत सारी चीजें ना बहुत जल्द चेंज हो रही है, बदल रही है, और हमें भी उसी तरह उसमें खुद को चेंज करना है। और एक मेंटर जो विजन देता है, उससे फास्ट जो चेंज करने के लिए जो हमें चाहिए वो और कौन दे सकता है। सभी चीज तो हम एक्सपीरियंस नहीं कर सकते हैं। तो आपकी सबकी सहायता से मैं यहाँ पे इनवाइट करने जा रहा हूँ लियो जेसुडियन।
Namaskar. Can everybody put their video on, please? I want to see your faces. Otherwise, I'm going to turn my video off. Everybody put your video on. सारे लोग अपना वीडियो को चालू कीजिए प्लीज। ये मीटिंग है। आपको शरद और मुकुंद और सब लीडर्स ने बोला है कि मीटिंग आप आइए और आप अपना वीडियो ऑन कीजिए। यदि आप अपने गाड़ी में हो और आप फोन पे हो और आप वीडियो नहीं चालू कर सकते हो, ओके, बट अदरवाइज आई वांट योर वीडियो ऑन। ओके, सो व्हाट इज द एजेंडा? आई वांट टू आस्क सम क्वेश्चंस फर्स्ट। पहले मैं आपको प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूं कि आपको अभी ये बिजनेस में दिक्कत क्या हो रही है? मेन चैलेंज क्या है?
लियो, अभी लेटेस्ट सिचुएशन जो है, एमवे ने अपना अकाउंट भी अभी ओपन किया है, सबके चेक्स वगैरह सब कुछ मिल गए हैं हमें।
ओके,
प्रोडक्ट्स भी मिल रहे हैं,
ठीक है।
और सब जगह पे होम मीटिंग्स और प्रोडक्ट ट्रेनिंग और जो हमारा जैसे स्पेशल सेशन सब चालू हो गए हैं, और जो ओपन मीटिंग है वो भी अभी शुरू हो गई है।
अच्छा, मैंने
हाँ
सोचा कि ओपन मीटिंग अलाउड नहीं है, एमवे करने वाला है।
हाँ, अभी अभी तक तो एमवे ने कोई डिक्लेयर किया नहीं है, तो अपने अपने इसमें ओपन मीटिंग हो रही है, शुरू किया है। जो भी अभी मुंबई की ओपन है, राजस्थान की ओपन है, उसके सब लिंक आ रहे हैं। तो
वो गुड न्यूज।
हाँ, तो हम अभी चाहते हैं कि एम्बे का जो अभी अनाउंसमेंट जो है फाइनल सिस्टम को लेके, और उन्होंने अभी जो भी कुछ चेंजेस वगैरह है, तो उसका हम लोग वेट कर रहे हैं। लेकिन जो एग्जिस्टिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर है ना, सब एक्साइटेड है और सभी को विश्वास है कि ये सब क्लियर हो जाएगा और बिजनेस शुरुआत हो जाएगी। एक्चुअली सब शुरू ही है, लेकिन ये जो सब कंफ्यूजन है थोड़ा सा, तो उसके लिए सब लोग वेट कर रहे हैं, मेनली सिस्टम के बारे में। तो यही है
हाँ,
अभी।
क्योंकि सिस्टम बिना हम बिजनेस बढ़ा नहीं सकते हैं ना। एक
हाँ
तो चीज हमको देखो, आप सिंपली मुझे पूछो, ये बिजनेस को छोड़ो और मुझे पूछो कि यदि विदाउट अ सिस्टम आप बिजनेस को बढ़ा सकते हो, कोई भी बिजनेस को, तो आप क्या बढ़ाओगे? मैं कहता हूं जरूर। यदि सिस्टम को की जरूरत नहीं है तो क्यों फालतू टाइम वेस्ट करना सिस्टम के ऊपर? लेकिन सिस्टम बिना कुछ नहीं होता है। गवर्नमेंट भी सिस्टम के ही साथ बढ़ती है, स्कूल भी सिस्टम के ही साथ लोगों को, स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाती है, मिलिट्री भी सिस्टम के साथ ही कोई भी अ, अ, जो वॉर है जीत सकती है। सॉफ्टवेयर में सिस्टम चाहिए, सब कुछ में सिस्टम चाहिए, मैरिज में सिस्टम चाहिए, लोगों को पालने में भी सिस्टम चाहिए। यू नीड अ सिस्टम, हस्बैंड वाइफ सिस्टम चाहिए बच्चों को पालने के लिए। ऐसा नहीं कि बस जो भी हो रहा है चलने दो, चलती का नाम गाड़ी। तो इसके लिए सिस्टम के बिना बहुत मुश्किल है आगे बढ़ना। हाँ, मेंटली हम स्ट्रांग हैं, हम ठहरे हुए हैं कि ओके ये भी आएगा और जाएगा, ये गवर्नमेंट का हिस्सा है, कोई बात नहीं। बट नाउ द सिस्टम चालू है तो दैट इज फैंटास्टिक, ये अच्छा हो गया। और हमें मालूम था ये होने वाला है, लेकिन हमको पता नहीं था कितना देर लगेगा। शुक्र है कि जल्दी हो गई, राइट? कितना 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 हफ्ता
Leo,
क्लोज?
open meeting was all. It was on. It never stopped. Things were on.
Sponsor somebody if you don't have any part of the situation. हेलो,
अलियो, आपका आवाज ब्रेक हो रहा था, क्या कहा आपने?
मैंने बोला कि आप लोगों को स्पॉन्सर नहीं कर सकते हो इफ द ओपन मीटिंग इज ऑन बट nobody is getting checks and nobody is getting product. It's very difficult to sponsor ना।
अभी चेक वगैरह सब क्लियरेंस हो गया है।
आई अंडरस्टैंड, बट जब नहीं था तो मुकुंद कह रहा है कि ओपन मीटिंग चालू था, तो ओपन मीटिंग चालू है,
कुछ नहीं हुआ,
कोई
शांति।
कुछ कर नहीं पा रहा था विद द ओपन मीटिंग। एम आई राइट कि रॉन्ग?
नहीं, अभी भी ना मेन चैलेंज वही है कि जो नए लोग हैं वो अभी जो एग्जिस्टिंग जो भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर है उनको बिलीव है नहीं, नए लोगों का जो स्पॉन्सरिंग और सब ये है ना, उसमें तो इफेक्ट होगा ही। तो एमवे से ऑफिशियली सब कुछ ये होने के बाद ना सिचुएशन चेंज हो जाएगी, ऐसा मेरा मानना है।
आपका आवाज बंद हो गया था।
मैं कह रहा था कि मैंने अपने अकाउंट मैनेजर है उससे बात की थी कि अभी सिनेरियो क्या है। तब उन्होंने कहा था कि स्पॉन्सरिंग का रेट जो है वो जरूर कम हुआ है, अभी बाकी सब कुछ चल रहा है, सिर्फ नए लोगों को थोड़ा सा स्पॉन्सरिंग के लिए दिक्कत अभी हो सकती है। तो मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि एमवे से जब सब क्लियरेंस वगैरह सब कुछ हो जाएगा ना, तो जैसे लास्ट टाइम आपने कहा था कि हम लोग अभी जो बात करेंगे इनिशियल स्टेज पे, तो उसके लिए कुछ हमें बेस चाहिए, तो उसके लिए हम लोग एक्चुअली वेट कर रहे हैं।
तो आप किसी के साथ बात करोगे इस बिजनेस के बारे में, तो जब ये बिजनेस का नाम आता है तो मेजॉरिटी लोग कहेंगे कि एमवे हैज अ प्रॉब्लम, द गवर्नमेंट एंड दे आर एन इलीगल कंपनी, बिकॉज दैट इज द मैसेज आउट देयर। द मैसेज has reached the people that they are doing, Amway is doing something illegal. So the message is already there. आप उसको चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो। एक बार आपके मुंह से निकला, जर्नलिस्ट ने बोल दिया, अखबार में प्रिंट हुआ, टीवी में आ गया, that message is out there. अभी आपका क्या चैलेंज है कि वो मैसेज को कैसे पलटाओगे? How can you turn that message around? ये आपका चैलेंज है। Okay, that's the challenge anyway with Amway. Now that's a bigger challenge because of the problem with the government and the freezing the assets and all that stuff. Okay, what you have to say is that this is my message to you to talk to people. Okay, very important message. You have to tell people that Amway is the largest company on planet Earth. It is not going anywhere. No government has ever succeeded in shutting it down. Never. Anywhere. in the world. Now, have governments attacked Amway all the time? Why? Because they're number one, and the governments have a tendency to look at number one and challenge number one and find out what's going on. Then there is jealousy amongst the bureaucrats and the lawmakers. There's all kinds of jealousy. We don't pay bribes. हम रिश्वत नहीं देते हैं, हम अपना काम संभालते हैं. So there's a problem with some people in high positions in government. ये क्या है? So they try in every government. They've tried in China, they've tried in Korea. I'll tell you a story in Korea. It is not verifiable. The reason why it's not verifiable is because nobody wants anybody to know this story. The big powers take it out. But this story happened just about when George Bush was president. So I would say 2000, 22 years ago. South Korea decided to shut Amway down for no reason. And they are the government, they can do anything. They can do anything. You know, a government can do anything. They have no control except when the people get angry. Then the government starts to wonder कि सही किया कि गलत किया. Now, South Korea decided to shut Amway down because their companies were complaining that they can't got. A lot of the people were doing Amway very successful in South Korea. In 1 year, my upline broke over 100 diamonds. Over 100 diamonds. So what's happening is there are so many people making money in South Korea, they don't want jobs. So there was a shortage of people. So there was a lot of aggravation in the private sector. So South Korea said, and you know what? George Bush called, at that time, the president's name was Mr. Kim. Jung Dao Kim or something like that. So he called Mr. Kim, and said, if you do not open Amway in the next 48 hours, I will shut off every Korean car, every Korean electronic, every Korean TV, everything Korea coming into the United States. The President of the United States said that to the President of the President of Korea. He called him and he said, because that was just no reason. There was no reason. If there is a reason, then you go to court. You've got a system to fight. But it gave no chance for Amway to fight. So Amway called the president and said, look, they just shut us down for no reason. And that's why President George W. Bush, the son, not the father, called, and in 48 hours, nobody realized, the public didn't realize, nothing. It closed and it opened, cut. Okay, why did it happen? I don't know. There are millions of suppositions, but no real clarity as to why that happened. And it happened when George Bush was president and I was in Amway. I was an emerald in Amway then. And I knew that. China suspended many times and has made it very difficult for people to build the Amway. You know what? It's still flourishing. And so I want to tell you that you have to tell your prospect that Amway is not going anywhere. If it was a quota company, it would have gone in 2000. After 1998, taken everybody's money and gone in 2 years. Cut with all the money. Why would it not go? Why is it still not going? It's still not going. It's still in India. Why is it not going? Because it is a company that is solid. Now, will it be attacked again? Yes. It never stops. It never stops. It happens everywhere. In America, they cannot attack us. So you know what they've done? They've made us Nobody gets a commission, nobody gets a bonus unless they can prove they have 10 customers. 10. And verifiable. Different phone numbers, different addresses, different people. Or you cannot get a bonus. They have made that a rule just now, September 1 last year. So people, there are many pins, there are many diamonds who have no customers. Because you know what? They've been diamond for 10, 15 years. They're like enjoying. That is the true freedom of the Amway business, is once you become like successful, you don't need to do anything. You're free, totally free. And so that is the way we sell the business. We sell the business not for products. We sell the business not for business. We sell the business for freedom. So when somebody gets free, they relax and they lose their customers, 5, 10, 15 customers, they lose them over a period of time. So if you're a diamond for 20 years and you're enjoying life and suddenly you have no customers, you might have a few customers like your grandmother or whatever. And then suddenly the government says you have to show 10 customers minimum or you're not going to get a bonus. Baji sabki baja. You know what I'm saying? The government is always looking to trap you. I don't know why. We are citizens of this government. You are citizens of your government. Why they want to fight with us? They should encourage us, no? No. Why? Because the individuals in government have an agenda. They have been paid by somebody. They have taken a donation or a bloody bribe. In America, they call it donation. It's a bribe. It's not a donation. People write big checks for political people. And it's a donation for the party. My foot, it's a bribe. And when you bribe somebody, you expect something in return. You don't bribe somebody for nothing. So they're getting the return. Like, we don't know what the motivation is for government to do the things they did. Do you think that Amway violated a law? I don't think Amway violated a law at all in India. Amway is a manufacturing company. It has got laws that are governing the manufacturing. Why did they take away everything? Because of some bloody issue in Telangana and in Kerala. The Kerala issue was resolved. The Telangana issue was open and they started to make a little noise again. Okay? But to me, I'll tell you one thing. The problem is in the field. The problem is the distributor, IBO, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what your current nomenclature is. But whatever it is, that is the problem, not Amway. Amway just manufactures stuff and delivers. And it's a very straightforward thing. They cannot, if they violate, they'll stop their manufacturing. They won't grab their assets. So to me, remember this, that you have to talk to people. Now, not like I'm talking to you, huh? Softer voice, smile on the face, and gentle. Because a new person cannot take like passion. They look at passion and they say, this guy is too aggressive. It's really, I'm passionate. I'm not aggressive. I'm very passionate about what I'm talking about. Okay? So they cannot handle passion. If somebody doesn't understand your passion, you have a problem. Your relatives don't understand your passion. Your friends don't understand your passion. Many of your friends think you're crazy because you're in that Amway thing. They don't understand your passion. When anybody doesn't understand, let me tell you something. Let's make a scenario. You're a young couple, young as in middle-aged. You have a young daughter. She's like 20 years old. She gets involved with another man and you don't like him. You don't understand her passion. She has a problem. And the problem is you. Have you understood that scenario? Many parents understand that scenario. Many. Why do we care? Because we want our daughter, we want our son to be happy for the rest of their life. We are nervous for them. So if they get involved with the wrong boy or girl, and it doesn't matter if they're really good, if we don't understand their passion, they have a problem. If somebody doesn't understand your passion, you have a problem. They don't. They just get angry, they get upset. Most people don't understand your passion for the Amway business. Most people, I guarantee you, don't understand your passion for the Amway business. You have a problem. How are you going to solve that problem? By behaving very comfortably. You are the bigger person. You're always the bigger person. Whoever they are, they might be older than you, they might be in a position of power, they might be in an elevated state as a family member. They are wrong and you're right. Still, you cannot say anything. Just shut up and behave normally and eat it. Eat it meaning accept it. If some member of your family has a problem, if your best friends have a problem with you doing the Amway business, just keep quiet and eat it. The thing you don't want to do is crumble against their aggressive behavior, that you should not do that, don't talk to me about that, I don't want to know about your la da 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 da. Just leave it alone. Don't try to convince anybody. Okay? We're not, by the way, the word convince is a bad word. I don't know why it was invented in the English dictionary, and I'm sure there is an equivalent in every language in the country and the world. The word convince is this: a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. And you cannot convince anybody if they are not willing to be convinced. And most people are not willing to be convinced. They either understand what you're saying or they don't understand what you're saying. You cannot make a person who doesn't like physics learn physics. You can't. If they want to dance, you say, hey, don't dance, man, get a bloody degree in physics, you'll have a life. You cannot convince them. They will not get a degree in physics. But if they understand physics and want a degree, now you got something. Okay? So don't try to convince anybody. It's a bad word. It doesn't work. So what do? You're just looking for people who will understand what you're saying. That's all. That's all. It's a search. It is a search. There is no convincing. Every time I do a meeting, some people ask, how do I convince my friend who has a lot of contacts and she's very, very social, and she's fantastic, she's very intelligent, but she doesn't understand the Amway business. How do I convince her? I'm like, you don't. No, but she knows so many people. I'd rather sponsor somebody who knows nobody, who understands what I'm talking about, than to try to chase somebody who doesn't understand what I'm talking about, but happens to be my friend and knows a lot of people. I don't want that person. I want a person who understands what I'm saying. Then I will train them to talk to strangers. I will train them to chase their dream and realize their dream. That is a worthy job. That's a worthy task. That's a worthy thing to do, is to chase that person who understands what you're saying and help them to grow like we have grown. Let me tell you something about me. I was a self-driven, self-motivated human being that was very successful before I joined the Amway business. I was very successful. According to where I came from, and I came to America, there were no Indians here. When we saw an Indian across the street, we ran across the street and gave them a hug, because it was such a rare sight. Hey, how are you? And big gale me gala and all that fun stuff. Why? Because they were not Indians. Now when you see an Indian, you're like, hi. They don't care because there are so many Indians over here. Sometimes I go to some places and it's like Karol Bagh in Delhi. You know, it's like there's so many Indians around. You cannot go to a restaurant without seeing an Indian there in America. There's so many Indians. When I came, there were no Indians. It was very difficult. People say, when you came, it was easy. I'm like, pagal? It was very difficult. I couldn't even get a visa in India to come here. Some of you have read my book. You understand what I was saying. Okay? It's like it was very difficult. So I am very successful without the Amway business. But Amway has expanded my wisdom, my intellect, and me as a human being so many times over. It has changed me. I was not a bad guy, but now I'm so much better than the guy who was before the Amway business. I'm more passionate, and I was very passionate. I thought I was very passionate because you cannot succeed without passion. You cannot succeed without passion. If you don't have a passion for a subject, you can't even get a bachelor's degree, never mind a PhD. You can't even get a bachelor's degree in any subject if you're not passionate about it. But my passion grew when I joined the Amway business. And I joined the Amway business. Nobody showed me the plan, yeah. Nobody prospected me. They prospected Tiffany. And I got in. So you see, when you find the right person, they won't give you any trouble. They'll get in. I got in. I was like, I'm in. Nobody even told me anything. I got in. But let me tell you something. When you find the right person, they'll give you trouble in another. The trouble they give you is good trouble. यार वो मेरी बात नहीं मान रहा है, वो अपना ही कर रहा है, करने दे, उठा पटक के वो बना देगा, उसको रहने दो, कर रहा है तो करने दे, नहीं वो गलती कर रहा है, वो बात नहीं, वो सुधर जाएगा क्योंकि वो करने वाला है, वो बैठने वाला नहीं है, वो करने वाला है। मैं वैसा था, मैं करने लगा, मैंने किसी की बात नहीं सुनी। क्यों नहीं सुनी? क्यों? मुझे ज्यादा मालूम था? नहीं, मैंने क्यों नहीं सुना किसी की बात? डायमंड, फ्रैंक मैजियो, मेरा अपलाइन डायमंड, आपका अपलाइन डायमंड, फ्रैंक मैजियो कहता है मुझे, लेट्स गेट टुगेदर। मेरा अपलाइन मुझे बुला रहा है, मेरा पीवी में भी 150 पीवी, लेकिन किसी ने बोला ये आदमी ऐसा है, ये किसी की बात नहीं सुनता है और कर रहा है जो कर रहा है, स्पॉन्सर कर रहा है लेकिन कुछ हो नहीं रहा, धनाधन स्पॉन्सर कर रहा है लेकिन कुछ हो नहीं रहा। तो फ्रैंक मैजियो मुझे बुला रहा है, अपलाइन डायमंड एक चिंटू को बुला रहा है, बिजनेस में चिंटू, और कहता है कि लेट्स हैव लंच। मैंने इसका नाम सुना तो मुझे मालूम था ये कोई बड़ा आदमी है अपने बिजनेस में। मैंने बोला चल खा ही ले, I'll take him out to lunch. So I said lunch is on me. He says don't worry about that, let's get together for lunch. So we had lunch and we talked and everything, and he says, oh, by the way, you pay for your lunch, I pay for my lunch. I said no. He said no, this is how we do it in the Amway business. I said I don't care what you do, I'm paying for lunch. So he said no, this is how, and he called the waiter and he said 2 separate checks. He was training me. He could have paid the lunch, I could have paid the lunch, it would have been no big deal, but he was training me. He was training me on how I will be. You cannot buy your whole downline lunch, and if you buy your downline lunch and if they don't have the money, they cannot buy their downline lunch, so it's bad, it cannot be duplicated. But he didn't say anything about that. He just was training me by the way he was, not by what he said. And I did not realize he was training me. मैंने बोला ठीक है, 2 चेक ढीठ आदमी है. That's all. Okay, we had lunch, and he said, maybe you would want to. Your upline called me and said you're doing very well. So I said, well, I don't think so. What is well? So he says, in your first month, you've sponsored like 5 personals. I said, what's a personal? I didn't know anything. He says, like the people you have sponsored personally, as opposed to for them sponsoring somebody else. This is called personals or with. Anything under them is called depth. Okay, I understood that. Okay, I said, okay, makes sense. So he says, in less than a month you sponsored 5 people. That's like unbelievable. I said, I could have sponsored 15. In fact, 3 people joined and I told them to get out. He says, you did? I said, why not? They were telling me they were going to be somewhere and they did not show up. And they told me they would come to the meeting and they didn't come. So I told them, listen, here's your money. Go away. Don't bother me. So he says, don't ever do that again. I said, listen, I know what I'm doing. What if one of those people was a diamond? I still think about those people. And I didn't listen to him. For another 3 months, I kept telling people, get lost. कितने लोग को मैंने भगा दिया? I don't know. Because I was a CEO. If you tell me you're doing something, you better do it. Otherwise, I don't want you on my team. I used to fire people. I fired IBOs. Finally, after 3 months, and I did not want to go to these meetings. I said, these meetings, they keep repeating the same stuff again and again. I already know what to do. I need to sponsor width, sponsor depth, build. Everybody will buy products and the business will grow. I didn't understand that every step of the way, you have to walk these stupid people that don't know anything. They join and they think instantly they're going to go diamond. Or they sponsor 6 people and they say, I got my 6 legs. So I'm like understanding this is not happening. So after 3 months, I was at 1500 PV. No, sorry, 15%. And I was going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, not going anywhere. So I called Frank. And I said, hey, I did not respect him. I did not treat him special. He was just another guy who's something in the Amway business, some diamond fireman, apne ko nahi malum. I called him and I said, hey, let's have lunch. Lunch is on me because I'm inviting. He says, no. He says, I'll have lunch with you, but again, it's going to be 2 separate chairs. I said, why do you behave like you're broke or I'm broke? We both have money. We're good. One of us can take each other for lunch. It's a friendship. He says, nope. This is how we're going to do it. Oh, I'm not having lunch with you. अभी उसको मालूम है कि मैं उसको चाहता हूं, तो उसने अपना रूल लगा दिया. So I said, fine, you pay for your lunch, I'll pay for my lunch, we'll have lunch. We had lunch. So we started talking about this. How is Tiffany? I said, fine. How's John Nazio? And he has 4 children. 3 girls and a boy. I said, how are your children? I didn't know who they were. He said, they're fine. And we chit-chatted and we talked about this, that, the other. He asked me what kind of business I did. He said, you're a very rare person. So I said, why? He said, mostly in our business, people who are in business don't join. They like the program, but they don't join. It's the people who are stuck and don't know where to go, they join. So I said, what makes you realize that if I have a business and I'm making money, that I'm not stuck? So he looked at me and he says, you're stuck? I said, yes. He says, then how are you stuck? I said, you're making a difference. You're making an error, a mistake. And Frank was so calm. He's a diamond, huh? Diamond have a lot of bloody patience. He looking at me and he's like, अच्छा ये मुझे सिखाने वाला है कुछ और मैंने सिखाया उसको कुछ. I said, you're putting too much emphasis on money. I'm very successful financially. I'm stuck in life. I have nowhere to go. I'm stuck. I cannot stop doing what I'm doing. I'm in a terrible situation. If this business can deliver what the plan says, I will get rid of all my other business and I'll become free. He started to smile. इतना बड़ा smile. उसको मैंने कुछ सिखाया उस दिन. You can teach your upline and your upline can teach you, but I was very like aggressive उन दिनों में. And let me tell you something. He said, so how's your business? I said, it's not working. I'm very disappointed. I'm not going to quit. So he said, that's what they all say. He says, but if you don't keep working it, you quit. Even if you have an IBO number, you quit. If you don't work it, you quit. You're playing a game in your head. So I said, who's playing a game in my head? How do you get in my head? I'm still working it, but it's not working. So he says, it works nicely when you do it right. I said, listen, I'm sponsoring people. They're not doing anything. I'm encouraging them. They agree with me. They don't do anything. My PV is around 15%. I go to 18%, I come down to 12%, I come down to 9%, I go up to 15%, I go up to 18%. I have never reached silver. There is something wrong. He says, absolutely. I said, okay, tell me. He says, you do not believe in the system. I said, well, the system is for people who don't know. I know how to build a business. He says, Leo, you know how to build a business. You're a very successful international businessman. You don't know how to build the Amway business. Because if you knew how to build the Amway business, you wouldn't be sitting here telling me I'm 15%, 12%, 9%, 18, 15, 12. You'd be silver, going gold, going platinum, going, in those days, pearl. There was no sapphire, pearl, emerald, and diamond. You don't know how to build this business. And I sat back and I said, what should I do? He says, can you listen to me? I won't guide you wrong because your success is my success. I said, I'll listen to you. I'm ready. And I started to listen. And within 6 months, I was a gold. Then the year changed, so I didn't go platinum that year. The following year, I went platinum and Q12. And 2 years later, I went emerald. So when you find the right person, they might be like me, crazy, like absolutely nuts, not listening to anybody. But they will build a business. Utha patak ke, they will build the business. Now, do you just leave them alone? Well, let them make some mistakes and then gently pull them in. Like Frank Mazzio gently pulled me in. He did not chase me. The first time he made the call. The second time he dragged me in. And he yanked me till I humbled myself and let him lead and I followed. It was a process. It didn't happen right away. And why did it happen? Because I was stuck. And I was not stuck for money, I was stuck for freedom. So I don't know what you're stuck for, whether you're stuck for money or you're stuck for freedom or both. Some people are stuck for both. They don't have a lot of money and they don't have freedom. That's a real bad situation. But whatever it is, when you find the right person who understands what you are saying, they will follow you. The difference is when they are listening to all this noise from the government or the journalists, the media. That is your challenge. That is my challenge. That's everybody's challenge. In America, if you say the word Amway, they're like, oh, that was a good company, but they've gone out of business, right? They think that Amway is no longer in existence. They really think that. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's 80 years old, so he's not going to build a business. He's a new friend. He's a friend for the last 8 months. So I was talking to him at coffee, and he says, so what did you do to become financially free at such an early age, at 49? Because something happened, and I said I retired from everyday work, like really a full day's worth of work in 2000. That's 22 years ago. He says, that young, what did you do? So I said, the best thing on earth. He says, what was that? I said, I built the Amway business. He says, oh wow. So they were some kind of an amazing company, I'm told. But now they're not around, right? I said, they're bigger now than they ever were. So there are people walking around who really genuinely think that Amway is not in business. In India, they're walking around thinking Amway is a quota company. The government is going to shut them down, and has actually shut them down. They might even have that as their image, mental image, that Amway has been shut down by the government. And then you go and prospect them, and they're like, that company is over, out, finished. And you say, no, we're just getting started. We're used to challenges. But we have never left a country when we entered, and no country has kicked us out, ever. And then you start to tell them about the company. Will they join? Maybe not. But at least you know what to say when you get a challenging statement against you. You cannot keep quiet. If you keep quiet, you will fail, because too much negativity, you will stop. So you cannot keep quiet. You have to fight for your passion. And your passion is not the Amway business. Your passion is your freedom. Your passion is your liberty. Your passion are your dreams. That is your passion, ladies and gentlemen, not the Amway business, not the bridge system, not anything. That's your passion. Now you use all these other things to achieve your passion. Your passion is your passion, and it has nothing to do with the business. What is it exactly that you want? How do you want to live? I always ask people, how do you want to live? And they say, what do you mean? I'm like, have you ever thought how you see yourself? When I was a young kid, I used to think about how I was going to live when I was older. And you know what? I'm here alive and well at 70 years of age. In 2 months, I'm going to be 71. I'm not a young guy. I feel young. I really feel young. I feel like I'm 17. But I'm opposite of 17, 71 in 2 months. And guess what? I'm here to tell you that all the dreams I had as a kid are nothing compared to the life I live. The dreams I had as a kid were nothing compared to the life I live. Why? Because God, once you reach your dream, gives you another dream. Once you reach that dream, gives you another dream. Once you reach that dream, gives you another. So what dream you had when you started, you look at your life and you're like, man, I'm ahead of my dream that I started with, but I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be. I agree. I'm not where I want to be either. I want a different boat. we're looking for a house on the water. There's a lot of things to do, man. You know, a house on the water is the most expensive thing you can ever get. In the same locality, if you buy a penthouse in a high-rise building, or you buy a home, or you buy a house on the water, the house on the water in that same locality will be the most expensive. In the locality. You can find a penthouse in New York City that costs more than the house on the water here, maybe. But in New York City, if you want to be on the water, it's going to be more than the house, the penthouse. Wherever you are, if you pick the house on the water or the land on the house, we're looking at land now. We changed our mind. Tiffany and I, we changed our mind. We're not looking for a house. We are flexible. If we find a nice house and the price is right, yes. But really, now we've decided we're going to buy land and build a house. It will be on our specifications. On the water with a dock and, and then another boat. All good things. Of course, if I die, then it's over. But I'm in a better place than any boat can deliver to me right now. Okay? Heaven is a much better place than a boat on earth with a house on the water and freedom. Okay? So, okay. But I'm telling you, chase your passion. But Amway is the vehicle. Brit and internet are the system that gets you to take that vehicle. It's like the gas in your car, your petrol in your car, or, whatever you want to call it. It's internet and Brit, the system is the petrol in the car, and the car is Amway, but the destination is your passion. It has nothing, you see, the destination that I want to go to has nothing to do with the Air India flight I took from Bombay. At that time it was Bombay, not Mumbai. From Bombay to New York. The Air India flight I took from Bombay to New York was not my dream. My dream was to come to America. That was the vehicle that brought me, and the ticket was the petrol. I was paying for the petrol or the jet fuel. Maybe I didn't pay for the whole jet fuel because there were so many other people paying for jet fuel, but collectively we paid for the pilot, we paid for the flight attendant, we paid for the food, and we paid for the jet fuel. So understand how things happen. It's very simple. Everybody tries to complicate things. It's not that complicated. It's very simple. Understand that your passion is your dream. Forget about Amway, forget about Brit, forget about a plane or a car or anything, boat, nothing. It's your passion is your dream. Now, how are you going to get your passion? Through the Amway business. How are you going to make that business go forward? Through the system. That's the jet fuel. Actually, I consider Amway a rocket and the system rocket fuel because it's the fastest way to become free. That was the fastest way I became free. I couldn't get free in 29 years. I got free in 6.5. And I took 6.5 because I needed real money, not some, you can make like, 2-3 lakhs a month. No, I needed more like 10 to 15 lakhs a month to become free. I've reduced my income. I've reduced my overhead. Like I don't have any expenses. So my entire expenses are diesel for the boat, maintenance for the boat, insurance for the boat, taxes on the slip, the dock, because I own the slip in the marina. So I pay taxes on that to the state of Florida, and food and clothing. That's all my overhead. I don't have any overhead. I don't have any payments. I don't owe anybody any money. I don't owe anybody any money. So my overhead has come down to very insignificant level. Like I can actually live on maybe $5,000 a month, which is like nothing. If you told me I would make 5,000 a month, I would cry. I would cry. I would get a hold of myself. First of all, I don't cry. I just feel very sad. But at 5,000 a month, I would be in trouble. I'd have to get rid of like my whole way of living. But now I can live on 5,000 a month and I'm making so much money. Even with the pandemic, we gave back money. We gave back $1.5 million. $1.5 million, which is about 10 crores. In 20 days, we refunded 10 crores. In 20 days, from March 20th, 2020 to April 10th, 2020, we refunded 10 crore rupees, $1.5 million. 10 plus crore. And then for the rest of the year, we refunded another 3 million, which is like 7.5, 15, about 22 crores more we refunded in the travel business. And I'm still smiling, happy, because now for the last year, we've made ridiculous money because everything is opened up and it's not stopping. If is confused, like she's like, I cannot handle the workload. And I'm like, praise God. So I'm telling you, the passion that you have for your dream comes first, and then the vehicle and the fuel for the vehicle are what you are interested in. Now, if the vehicle breaks down, you have a problem, which is Amway broke down for a few weeks or month or whatever because of the issue with the government. But it's temporary, it's solved. You got your bonuses, everything is moving forward. Okay, good. So that means you had a flat tire on the highway and the truck came and they fixed your tire, and now you don't have a spare tire, but they've replaced your tire, but you don't have a spare tire, so you have to be careful, but you can be on your way. Happens to every journey. Every journey has issues. You cannot have a smooth journey. Something is going to happen in your journey. But let me tell you something. You're on your way. So now the automobile that you're going in your journey to your dream has been fixed. The Amway business. Okay. And they're still getting other things done. Okay. Fine. Now the system and your vehicle will get you back on track. But don't look for somebody who's not chasing their dream or doesn't want to chase their dream. Some people want to chase their dream. They don't know how, so they give up. They're like, what dream? If you tell them, this, I could find this is a business that would, allow you to realize your dreams. Some people are so sad. They're like, what dream? You got to be joking. Like that doesn't work. They are so hurt that they don't want to believe that there is a way for them to achieve their dream. They like, no, it's not going to happen. I've tried, man, and I'm not a stupid guy, okay? It's not going to happen. You have to tell them, what if I'm right? What if I'm right? Can you actually take that risk that I'm right about what I'm telling you? Can you take that risk really if it is going to achieve your dreams? I tell people that all the time. Even then they don't listen. Because they say, yaar, ye to sirf baat kar raha hai, bahut smooth aadmi hai. Chhod, baaton mein bahut acha hai, lekin I don't trust him. Fine. That's their problem. I've done everything I can. That's it. I'm not convincing anybody. I'm only waiting for the right person. And you know something else? The right people don't come often. They don't. The right people don't come often. Remember that. Very difficult to find the right people. But can you find them? Of course you can. You found them already. You found a few. You should just have to find more. And you know what? You say the worst thing you could do is look back. यार इतना मेहनत के साथ मैंने उसको स्पॉन्सर किया, इतने सारे लोग के पास वो आ गए, अभी कितने लोग को स्पॉन्सर करना है जब तक मैं नया आदमी को ढूंढूंगा या औरत को ढूंढूंगा या कपल को ढूंढूंगा जो ये करने वाले हैं. Don't think like that. Never negotiate the price of success. सौदा मत करो आपके सफलता के लिए. No. Don't negotiate your price of success. I have not. Is it hard? Yes, it is hard. But I've told you this before and I'll tell you this again and again and again. Hard pays, easy does not pay. Okay, so with that, I hope you know how to to answer a challenge about Amway is all done when you're prospecting somebody. But remember, when everything is fine, you still can't find the right people like that. You cannot. Why? Because most people think they know more than you do. Especially with Google now. I can just Google and know more than you. What I should listen to you? I tell you this, I don't know about, Hemlata and Sanjay Doke, but I'm going to ask them a question. Do people Google their condition? If they have a disease or if they have a sickness, do they Google and then they advise you as to what you should give them? Do they do that?
Yes, regularly. Just now, as soon as they get the reports, they are onto the Google and they know everything more than us.
Yes. And so what a foolish thing that is. Think about it, huh? Think about this. Really think about this. This man, his wife, she's a dentist, he's a doctor. There are other doctors over here. They are all working hard. They've spent decades. They worked hard in school, in high school, to go to the right college, to go to the right, medical school. And it's been difficult right through. They ignored their friends. They ignored their family. They went for the degree. They got to become a doctor. They're practicing. They're doing well. And this idiot from the street comes and they have a problem and they go to Google and know more than him. And you think that you're going to get a diamond like that. You gotta be joking. They go to Google. Amway. Very few people make money, only the people on the top. That's a common statement you've already heard. Very few people. That's the people who think that Amway is not a scam. Most people say, it's a scam. Have you gone to the internet? You're like, man, I'm in the business. You think I don't go to the internet? What do you think? My head is in the ground? I'm in the business. I'm making the money. I know what's happening out there. But I don't say it with this tone and I don't look at them like this. But I say it in a very gentle way. I said, you know what? I'm in the business. I've been in the business for 30 years. I've been making money from like the second month. I've been making money from the second month. Did you know that I was supremely successful in the Amway business in the second month? Because it cost me, check this out. It cost me $100 to join. And in the second month, my return was $10.83, which is almost 11% return on the investment. Is that successful in the first month? 11% return on my investment. So I've been successful from day one in the Amway business. Was I as successful as I want to be? No. But as far as business is concerned, I invested $100 in the kit. Actually, I didn't invest $100 in the kit. I invested $100 in the kit, but I got products. I should even take it one step further. My return was huge in my first month. In my second month, I took in $56. In my third month, I took in $400. And then I stayed between $300 to $500 for like 6 months, because of, like I told you the story about Frank. I was successful as far as an investment and a return was concerned from day one. So I tell people, I smile and tell them, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I've been successful from day one. And when I joined, I was not on top, I was at the bottom, but I was on top. They say, what do you mean? How can you be in the bottom and on top? Well, I was in the bottom in the organization, but I was on top of my organization. They said, you had an organization? I said, no, but I was on top of my organization that I was going to build. I was the top in my organization. If you understand this business, that's exactly what it is. When you join, you're like, man, like everybody is above me, like I'm nothing. No, you're on top of your group. You just haven't built your group yet. So this business allows you to be on top when you're at the bottom. Come on, yeah. How can you go wrong? I have to build a business, then you should be on the bottom. If you don't want to work, you should be on the bottom. If you want to be on top, the day you join, you're on top of your group. You just don't have a group yet. So, and the beauty of the group is the group can make more money than you. It's all right. Like many people have diamonds under them and they're not even diamond. They might not even be emeralds. They have diamonds upline. I know a Q12. He has 2 diamonds under him. Boy, the leg. But he has not built a business after Q12. He's like just sitting back and collecting the money for Q12. Which is his decision, not yours and mine. Now, if I was to advise him, I'm saying, yeah, come on, yeah, everybody ace, you got 2, and not 2 legs, you got 2 diamond legs. Come on, man, build it. You are talented. Build it. No, I'm okay. Fine, that's your choice. Everybody has their own choice. So think about what I'm saying. Okay? Everybody is an expert. And so if they are not humble enough and if they don't want something bad enough, they're not going to listen to you. And I wanted something bad enough and I still didn't listen to my upline. Till I realized my mistake. I have to realize my mistake. If you tell me my mistake, I might not accept it. If you tell me my mistake, I might not accept it. When I realize my mistake, I'm good. I'm ready. I'm on. Let's go. And I realized my mistake 6 or 8 months into the business. And that's what happened. So you can do this thing, but you've got some challenges. And guess what? I'm not telling you something new. You've had challenges as long as you've been alive. So what else is new? I want to ask Mukund and Swati a question, and both of them should answer separately. And the question is that in a traditional business, how many times do you come across challenges in a traditional business? Each of you answer separately because, Swati is a phenomenal operations person and Mukund is a phenomenal person, and they both run their business together. So each of them has a different view. So answer that question. How many challenges do you face, or don't you face any challenges in a traditional business?
Almost every day something or the other comes up. And you have to face and go ahead. Many a times it's not your mistake, it's mistake done by your employees or someone else. But you have to accept it and go ahead. So challenges are always there.
Every day there are challenges. There is very rarely there are days when challenges are not there.
Yes, I used to say that I had, once a year maybe, but definitely once in 2 years, I can have a perfect day where everything goes well. I've done everything I decided to do in the morning, and at a reasonable time, it's all good. Maybe once a year, maybe once in 2 years, but once in 2 years you can have a perfect day. Otherwise, it's all nonsense. But professionals handle nonsense. And I used to say, I make a mistake, I eat it. You make a mistake, you eat it. Eat it means take the hit, take the fault, take the blame, take the loss. That's eat it. Okay? Wrong. I make a mistake, I eat it. Somebody else makes a mistake, I eat it. The government makes a mistake, I eat it. A foreign country attacks another foreign country, I eat it. I've been eating it for bloody 51 years and 6 months. I've been eating it. I have eaten it. What does that do for you? It makes you strong. It gives you character. People like you more, and people hate you more. Equally. The people who hate me for nothing, but they hate me more because I'm like so strong. They're like, he thinks he's something else. Like, oh, bewkoof aadmi. I'm like, I don't care. I did not say anything to them, but they just hate me. And I'm fine because everybody cannot like you. A lot of people don't even like God. They think he doesn't exist. Atheists. Okay, so if God can be disliked, of course we can be disliked. Of course we can be disliked. And don't let it bother you. You're like, fine. I'm like, you know what I say to myself? I'm a Christian. You know what I say to myself? When I get like upset that somebody doesn't like me for the wrong reasons, I find out, right? Very few people tell me to my face they don't like me. In fact, I have not heard anybody really, unless I've had like a very aggressive conversation, nobody really tells me I don't like you. But I hear it from somewhere else, right? You hear it, just like me. So when I hear something and I really like them and I respected them and they said something from in the back of my, I'm like disappointed, then I say to myself, this is what I say to myself. They killed Jesus. I'm a Christian. They killed Jesus. He only healed people. He raised them. He gave eyesight to the blind. He preached good things and they killed him. So who am I? Who am I? I say that to myself to get strength, and I do get strength. Because sometimes, in your weak moment, you get upset because somebody said something. इसने ऐसा बोला यार. मैंने उसको कुछ भी नहीं किया. वो काहे को ऐसा बोल रहा मेरे बारे में? Then you talk to yourself. Relax. It doesn't matter. Who likes you doesn't like you. They don't like God, man. If they don't like God, what difference does it make if they don't like you? So understand, it's all good. You're going to be strong. Look, Mukund and Swati are talking about a traditional business. I know there are other people who have traditional businesses that can also say the same thing, that every day there are issues. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just ask for God for the wisdom to solve the problem. Don't ask God, don't give me any problems tomorrow, let me have a perfect day. Don't ask him that. Say, give me the strength and the wisdom to overcome the challenges. Yeah. That's the prayer. Don't ask for a car. He knows you want a car. He already knows it. You just say, God, bless me. Don't say car, house, money, Ghana. Don't be trivial. Don't be childish. Be wise. Say, God, bless me. And he knows what you want. He knows more than what you want. He knows what you'll want 5 years from now. When you have all the things you want today, he knows what you'll want then. So don't worry. Don't ask for No problems. Ask for wisdom and strength to overcome the challenges that you face every day. And don't ask for things, just ask for blessings, and you will have everything you want. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of you are not including God in your work. And I want to help you, man. I'm not like trying to convert you. Okay, again, converting somebody is like convincing them. I'm not interested. You get it, great. You don't get it, that's fine. But I'm telling you, if you include God in every move you make, you will be so much more not successful in money alone. Because money is good, but money is not the answer. I was stuck when I saw the Amway business. I had money. I had a lot of money. I was stuck. So the answer is not just money. The answer is your dream, your health, your intellect, your money, and peace, shanti. Oh, I cannot begin to tell you how good that is. I cannot. Words are no good. They're not good enough. That when you have real shanti, when nothing bothers you, and I'm going to tell you, like, I'm going to give you an example and then I'm done. This guy, this worker is working for me. My battery died in my tender. You know, the small boat that we carry on the big boat to take little trips here, there, and everywhere. My battery died, and what happened was that I left the engine on, and I told the guy who it was not being used for a while because we didn't use the tender for a while, so the battery died. So I charged the battery and I left it over there on the dock outside, the fuel dock, not near my boat. I left it at the fuel dock, and I told the attendant, I said, in about an hour, switch my engine off if I don't get here. And I was busy and I forgot. So he switched the engine off. He came, he knocked on the door. He said, you told me, and it's been an hour or so, I switched your engine off. So I took the key and I put it down, and he switched the engine off. The problem was, when you switch the engine off, you have to take your seat cover up, and underneath there's a master switch that you have to turn off, or it'll drain the battery. So we charged the battery. I took it for a ride, came back. I took it like for about an hour, came back. Then I told Tiff, you want to go for a ride? She says, I want to drive. So she got in the tender and we went for a ride, came back. The battery is nicely charged. That's like fantastic. I shut it off, started again. Bam, it started. I'm like, this is good. But just let me leave it for another hour running. And then I made a mistake. I should have just shut it and brought it, but I left it running. He shut it off. He didn't put the master switch off. The battery died again. So now the guy I called him, I said, hey man, he's coming to do some work. I said, bring your battery. My battery died, but not because it's a bad battery. He says, maybe you have a bad battery. I said, no. It died because the guy switched off the thing, brought me the key, but forgot to turn the master off. He said, man. So I said, just bring your battery so we can charge it again while you're doing this other work. He's doing some other work for me. His assistant went and didn't know what to do. He did it all wrong and burnt a $250 battery. He's going to pay. See, your employee, the government, your client can make the mistake and you pay, I pay, right? It just happened, like you say. Sometimes it's our mistake, sometimes it's somebody else's mistake and we pay. See, we pay. But that just makes us stronger, okay? Is it irritating? Yes. Are you angry? Yes. Can you get over it? Sure. Will it be all right? Yes. God is with you. I'm done. Sangha, what? Like nobody wants to say anything. Happy anniversary to Sanjay and Hemlata Doke. I saw their picture on Facebook. Are a young couple who are just starting out in life. Must. I love it. Fantastic. Happy anniversary. Congratulations. You are very special people.
Thank you so much.
Anything, anybody?
Happy anniversary, Dr. Sanjay Dukke and Hema.
लग्नाच्या वाढदिवसाच्या खूप खूप शुभेच्छा.
Thank you.
दोघांनाही.
Happy anniversary, Dr. Doke and Hema Doke.
Fantastic. How many years?